Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this episode of the Cajun Conservative Show, where we talk about life, we talk about liberty, and yes, we talk about the pursuit of happiness, and we show you, the audience in the world, that Cajuns do have intelligence. Hope you're having a good day, good week, wherever you are located. Just remember that Jesus Christ is King, and this is the day that He has made. We should rejoice and be glad in it. As always, we are live on TikTok at the time of this recording. If you would like to watch this show live, you can go follow me on TikTok, and you can go ahead and watch us live on there. Any other platform, you have to wait till we record and upload. But we are on YouTube, we are on Rumble, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple, we are on iHeartRadio and Amazon Music and many other platforms. Just go check out the website, thecajunconservativeshow.wordpress.com. For the TikTok listeners, if you want to go check out the website, it's in my bio. Go ahead and check it out. And also TikTok Live, share the live stream, tell people about it. We have fun here, unless we get somebody upset. So, and look, somebody called me yesterday and they was asking me some questions about that. And I've come to the point, I'm not going to make everybody happy. I'm going to make some people happy with my thoughts and my opinions, and I'm going to make some people downright mad. But you know what? I've come to the point where, in America, we have the choice to have an opinion, and we can express that opinion. And that's a perfect way to lead into one of two stories I'm hoping to cover this morning. And, free speech is a very beautiful thing. It, and free speech gives us the opportunity to express our feelings. Now, is there there's times where free speech could be overboard? Some people can say hurtful things. People have said hurtful things to me, especially being on social media and being a content creator. I get told a lot of stuff a lot of times. And this comes from being on social media like TikTok. Especially yesterday, I was watching some of the comments on TikTok, and some people just said some hurtful things. So, we have to go ahead and be cautious of what we say. The Bible says the tongue is very powerful. One note, this is off subject. Rodney, I am from Louisiana. Okay. Like I said, TikTok Live, sometimes you catch a comment and you have to address it right away. But anyway, the Bible says that the tongue is very powerful. And that, it's sharp. It's like a sharp sword, the Bible says. And sometimes things can be hurtful, but we live in a country where our founding fathers, that was one of the top priorities for them in the Constitution. In the Constitution, the First Amendment gives us the right to religion, right to free press, and the right to free speech. Free speech is not to protect your speech per se, it's to protect the person that you disagree with. And the government is supposed to honor that. We live in a society, a country, not just because a society as a whole, they have different beliefs, but we live in a country where the belief is that you have the right to free speech. You get to express yourself, in your voice. You get to give your opinion. Well, this week in the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court has a lot of decisions coming down. They're listening to a lot of important cases, and this is a First Amendment case, and this was done on Monday. Now, our Attorney General here in Louisiana is part of this, Liz Monroe. Our Solicitor General, the person under Liz was arguing the case. And Monday, some headlines came down from this case because, first off, it's a First Amendment case. But what does the case involve? Well, the case involves social media, and the government intervened with social media to censor certain people. This happened back in the day when President Joe Biden, at the time, candidate Joe Biden, his son, they found a laptop and they had some incriminating evidence on it, I guess you could say, or alleged evidence on this laptop. And social media, the way that the Biden administration did it, they teamed up with some social media accounts and said, look, don't show that. Don't show that. It's false information. And the Biden administration has teamed up with Facebook and X and other social media companies and asked them not to push certain subjects. And this is all going on through COVID-19. And the government reached out through universities. And how do you know all this? I said, well, the Twitter files. The Twitter files that Elon Musk released and some files that were released by Facebook. So Liz and the state of Missouri, Louisiana and the state of Missouri sued the federal government and said, look, this is a breach of the First Amendment because the government they were trying to censor certain speech and they couldn't. The people would post something and it would get struck down. Now, conservative media or conservative content creators know what it is to be censored. I have been censored twice in my memory, if my memory serves me correct. So, it happened. Now, this lawsuit is like, hey, does the government have the right to reach out to social media accounts and tell them, hey, that's false information, you need to take it down, or they could go ahead and express them. This is what I think about, okay? The left goes ahead and does this all the time, and even some on the right, they just post some weird stuff out there. Look, the recent comments from President Donald Trump or former President Donald Trump on the bloodbath situation. We talked about this yesterday. Totally out of context what the media tried to do, but the media went ahead and pushed that narrative to try to make Donald Trump look bad. They purposely took that out of context to hurt President Donald Trump and to help President Joe Biden. That was the whole purpose of this. It was to stop Donald Trump. And they did it multiple times this week. They did it with the immigration speech that President Donald Trump said. The media was taking things out of context and lying about things. Now, as much as I disagree with it, and I can come on this microphone and tell you, hey, they shouldn't have done that. Guess what? They have the right to do it. Now, there's laws with perjury and stuff like that. They could, they could do other things, but the media has the right to free speech and freedom of the press. I disagree with it. Like I said, I can come on this microphone and say it's false, but they can push out certain things. And people on the left and right, look, I'm going to be honest with you. There is some conservatives or some on the right that they say something and I'm like, whoa, hold the horses right there. That is kind of out there. But they have the right to believe that, and they have the right to voice their opinion. And like I said, this whole case is talking about if the federal government can go ahead and reach the social media, because that's a part of us reaching out to the world. So the reason this is a big story, it's just the whole case in general. But KJB or Katina Brown Jackson made headlines because she made a remark that really that made my skin crawl, because this is coming from a Supreme Court justice making this case about censorship and over. So this is according to the Daily Wire. She voiced concerns over the fact that the First Amendment to the United States was doing exactly what it was designed to do, restricting the federal government. This is like, again, the First Amendment protects us from the government saying, hey, you can't do this or you can't say this certain things. And we're like, well, we got the Constitution. The Constitution says we can go ahead and voice our opinion. So speaking to the Louisiana Solicitor General, Benjamin Agnes, Jackson said, my biggest concern is that your view has the First Amendment hamstringing the government in significant ways in the most important time. She went on to suggest that she believes there was occasions when the government should have the power and in fact had a duty to dictate what could and could not be posted on social media. And she worried that a string reading of the First Amendment could threaten to ruin that end. This is coming from a Supreme Court justice. that is supposed to interpret the Constitution to make sure that the laws that are passed in this country are lining up with the Constitution of the United States. And she made a statement that this lawyer argument about the first Constitution hamstrings the Constitution, hamstrings the government in significant ways. It does. You know, that's the whole point of the First Amendment. Going back to the writer of this article, Virginia Corta, the First Amendment was written to limit the government to tell us what to say. Not limit the government to tell us not what to say. Let's say it like that. Because if the First Amendment isn't there and the government can dictate what we say and what can be posted, we're no longer a constitution republic. We are a socialistic country or a communistic country, because like in Russia, you can't go online and say what you want against Vladimir Putin. Let's use example of this last week. Russia had a 3-day election where Vladimir Putin was voted overwhelmingly the leader of Russia, but they don't want to say that his opponent or someone that was opposing him was he showed up. He died of natural causes. Let's just say it like that. And everybody that has opposed Vladimir Putin suddenly disappears. And you can't go on social media in Russia and say, we don't agree with Vladimir Putin, because all of a sudden your account's down, or your internet's down, and you're not heard from. Your family don't know where you at. And that is government control of the social media and the news networks. Back in the 1940s with Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler dictated what was on the television screens. If he wanted Germany to know something, he told them. Now, back then, they didn't have Facebook, they didn't have Instagram, they didn't have TikTok, they didn't have, social media as we know it. But the federal government, I feel, can't go on social media and tell me what to say and what to do, because that is restricting my free speech. That is restricting my First Amendment right. But according to KBJ, the government has, on occasion, needed to restrict what people are posting on Facebook. And look, I understand there's a lot of false information out there. I've already said this. This is why I don't pull from Alex Jones. I don't pull from him, because you can't believe everything he says. This is why I pull from reliable news sources. Look, I pull from Fox, I pull from Daily Wire, I pull from the Daily Caller, but I also pull from CBS. I have an article where I read on CBS the other day about the migrant issue that's going on in Texas. I'm probably going to have to save that story for another time. But that's one I wanted to try to touch on. We might touch on that tomorrow if I can. But going back, I read from CBS. I read from Politico. I read from CNN on time. I pull from reliable sources. Now some of you conservatives might be saying, "Wait, you consider CNN a reliable source?" No, but there's some. Like I said, a broken clock is right twice a day. So I'll pull from CNN every so often. I've quoted from news articles on this show. But to say that, and like I said, there's some. To say that there's occasions where the government should have the power, and in fact had the duty, and this is directly from a Supreme Court justice, to dictate what could and could not be posted on social media, is flat out wrong. And I'm happy that Louisiana and Missouri is doing this, because this has been a question for a while now. And I say a while, it basically the 2016 election. Okay? Remember, this all came out when Hillary Clinton said, I lost because of social media because they let Donald Trump post whatever he wanted on social media. After this, the left has gone into full attack that we need to restrict certain things on social media. And that's when Facebook, and that's at the time Twitter, started cracking down on, the community standards. And look, this is one reason why the left don't like TikTok. And hate to say it, even some on the right. Because again, we're live on TikTok at the time of this recording. And TikTok, yes, they do have standards. And they shouldn't allow certain things. I agree with that. Okay, lives that are inappropriate, hey, take that stuff down. But TikTok, you can voice your opinion. You can go ahead and talk about certain things, and people, you get your voice out there. But the government, hey, we need to shut it down because they can't control TikTok in certain ways, shape, or form, because TikTok likes to give you free speech. And this is an issue that we're having, and I'm glad the Supreme Court is talking about this right now. I'm glad they took up this case. And I'm hoping that it goes the way that I think it's going to go, but you can't tell with the Supreme Court. Because there was a lot of, Samuel Alito said some things about it. You're talking about, restricting people from having speech, and it just, this case is huge. Especially for content creators like myself. The right to free speech is a right that was given to us in our Constitution. And it scares me when you have the government, like the Biden administration, saying we can dictate or we can team up with social media companies and tell them what to allow and what not to allow. That scares me. That should scare every single person on American soil. Because, look, think about this. If you're a left-leaning person, listen to this show right now. This impacts you as well. Oh, what you mean? I agree with the left. I agree with their stance. Yeah, but what about if you disagree with the left? And you disagree with the current administration. And you voice your opinion on X or on Facebook or on TikTok and say, I can't believe they did this, and you're censored. Look, I'm a conservative, but I don't agree with everything the conservatives do. If you're on the left, you're not always going to agree with the left. And you voice your opinion. Today, we voice our opinion through social media. This is a great time to live, to be honest with you, because we had the opportunity as Americans to voice our opinion more than any time before through social media. But for KBJ to say that she's concerned because this could hamstring the government, right there, every justice should say, yeah, we're voting for it. Because the Second Amendment, not the Second Amendment, the First Amendment was designed to do that. So the government can't tell you what to say and what not to say. And like I said, this is concerning this is a Supreme Court justice that is on the federal bench until she retires or she passes on. And I just, like I said, this should concern everybody. You have the right to free speech. And the social media companies have been getting around they've been going around a loophole. They've been going around, things. The current administration has been going behind people's backs to dictate what they can put on Facebook, what they can put on social media, and it's time to stop. And I'm going to say this: if this does not go the way that I think it's going to go, it's time for Congress to act. It's time for the Senate and the House of Representatives to get together and create a bill that would limit the government's overseeing of social media accounts or social media companies, because we live in a free world. We're supposed to have the freedom of speech. It's in the Constitution. But again, and this goes to the Republicans and the Democrats, majority of these people that are politicians that are in these positions, they don't know the Constitution and they don't care to understand. They don't want to know the Constitution, because the Constitution limits more than just the government. It limits a lot. It's supposed to be run by the people, for the people. It says on the top of it, we the people. And our founding fathers were very wise men, and they knew that they couldn't voice their opinion to the king. They knew they couldn't. They knew they couldn't go. They tried. They tried to go to Parliament, and Parliament shut them down because they were across the ocean. So they put in there, hey, you have the freedom of religion. You can worship God or whoever you want without worrying about going to jail. You have the right to freedom of the press, so the news people can have the freedom to not be afraid of the government if they reported against the government. And the people had the right to free speech, to voice their opinion as they saw fit. And we need to hope that I'm going to say this. You have to hope that they make the right decision, and they say, look, the president cannot go ahead and reach out, or his administration cannot go ahead and reach out to social media and tell them what to post and what not to post, or what to push and not to push. It's been far too long, and something needs to get done. All right. With that being said, that's going to wrap up this episode of the Cajun Conservative Show. Once again, I want to thank everyone that has listened to me, or they have tuned in to the live stream. It is a blessing to come behind this microphone every day and to share my thoughts and my opinions. I'm excited to see what God's going to do through this show and through the TikTok channel. TikTok has been growing, by the way. I'm just saying, look, everyone that is watching, thank you. Yes, we are on Rumble as well. Rumble, you can just type up at the Cajun Conservative Show. We are on there. This was a question that was asked on the TikTok. We're on YouTube. We're on Rumble. We're on Apple. We're on Spotify. We're on almost all the platforms. So go ahead and check it out. If you want, go in my bio. This is for the TikTok listeners. Go in my bio on the website. They have all the listings for all our shows on there. And at one point, I think we had like 230 people watching. So TikTok, thank you. To all my audience that are on the podcast and YouTube and everything, thank you as well. Y'all, a lot of y'all have been here from the beginning. Again, I said this the other day after we passed 1,000 followers on TikTok. I couldn't do this without you guys. If nobody was listening, I'll just be here just rambling. And I'm here rambling most of the time. I'm just saying it feels good to have somebody want to listen to my opinion. And I'm excited. Also, go check out our other podcasts, Brother Just Searching and No Longer Two. Those podcasts are some spiritual podcasts, and we talk about biblical stuff. So on that note, you be blessed. You be encouraged. Remember, Jesus Christ is King. He's coming back, and he's coming back soon. Go check out our affiliate marketers in the bottom of the description, Give-A-Derm and HairClub, and you get some special discounts if you pick up product with them guys. Until next time, be blessed, be encouraged. You have a good one.